podcast where we chat about all things Christian fiction. I'm your host, author, and insatiable reader, Shatoa Having. And guys, we have back with us the most fun person to talk to. I'm just saying, I always have fun with her. Anyway, so welcome back, Elizabeth Goddard. She has the third book. Is it Hidden Bay? I
Yes.
don't have the page open. There it is. Hidden Bay series, third book. It's out. It's been out. Well, okay, so when this comes out, it'll be out for a couple months, but it's out, and so you can read the whole series if you haven't read already. I'm just saying. But we got to talk about A, this gorgeous cover, and B, the book. So welcome back, Elizabeth. Thank you for coming, guys. She needs rest, and she's here anyway. So let's just show some love.
Thank you for having me. I'm excited to talk about the book. And you're always fun to talk to.
This is great. Okay, so Hidden Bay, for those who haven't listened to the other episodes, why don't you give us an overview of this series so that at least they can get caught up? I will try to remember to put the other episodes in the show notes.
Oh, yeah, sure. So Hidden Bay is set on the Washington coast, and I live about an hour from the coast. And I just wanted to create a series around what I call a storm watching lodge, but basically characters go to this lodge and they watch the storm. Tourists come and they watch the storms rolling in off the Pacific coast, and it's like a rocky coast, waves crashing and tall cliffs, and it's just amazing and gorgeous, and the setting is just perfect for a suspense series. And Storm Warning is book one, and then book two is Perilous Tides, and then book three, Deadly Currents, is what just released in February. And I really wrap up, or questions arose in book one and two that I wasn't expecting. And so I used book three to answer those questions, but I won't get ahead of myself.
Excellent. Oh boy. Okay, so yeah, I'm actually typing in as we speak, so the link to the previous interview is here. But okay, so let's talk this cover, because I've loved the covers for the series. I'm not going to pretend I haven't, but this one, oh my gravy, is stunning.
Yes, I think that Revell they just hit it out of the park with their covers, every cover. But the series, all of the books are just, I could stare at them all day long. And then you put them all together and they're even more gorgeous, but with the metallic lettering. And I think the reason this cover, I think maybe the purple, maybe we just don't like purple, but the lettering, the metallic lettering is what I'm going to call mauve. And mauve is like my favorite color. It was my wedding colors, and so of course I love this cover. I could stare at it forever, but it's got a lot, fog and the coast and the mountains, and then this vibrant redheaded character.
She is just absolutely beautiful in a non-traditional way. She's not an airbrush, Hollywood beauty. She's just a natural, hello, I'm me. I
Yes.
can almost hear her say, I've got more important things to talk about than whether or not I'm attractive. Let's get on with things. I mean, that's just how I feel this gal is. And I
Yeah.
have no idea if that's true because I haven't read it yet, but that's how I feel. And she's like, just get out of my way. I got investigating to do.
Yes, and you have to read this. Oh my goodness, you have to read this. I wish you had already read it, but the funny thing is, I don't know if you've seen these. Some people animate their covers a little bit, just a
Yeah.
little. And I was like, oh, I want to do this. So all I wanted was just a little bit of fog rising and her hair to kind of blow. And I did that. I actually finally achieved
Yes.
it, but things I had to go through to get there is so funny. It's like the AI had her stepping out of the book cover and started telling me about the book. And I'm like, no, I don't want her to do that. I just want her hair to kind of float and the fog to kind of rise. Took me a while to get there, but it was funny. I don't know. I had to add that because we're talking about the cover, and like I need to do anything for the cover. It doesn't need anything, but just a little movement. Anyway, it's a gorgeous cover. I totally agree with you.
I love that. I like that idea a lot of just this her hair, because when you said animate, I was like, please tell me your hair was blowing, because that's exactly what hair like
Yes.
that does. I have a friend who has hair like hers. I mean, she could be the cover model for this. She's close enough in appearance that you could have put her on it and it would have worked, because it would have been like her cousin. I mean, it's just so
Wow.
funny.
Yeah.
But
Well, I
when the
wanted
wind
some red
blows,
hair and freckles.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that porcelain skin. And this gal is like my friend. Her skin tone means she can wear bright pinks at, like, they always say you shouldn't with red hair, but her skin tone says, oh yeah, hold my hat. It's
Yeah,
like,
kind of like what they
oh,
did with
I
this
love it.
cover.
Oh, it's so cool. It's just so cool. But yeah, beautiful cover. And yeah, so The thing that caught me, okay, we were talking about whether I had read it. I don't read these books anymore. I used to. I used to read every single one before we talked. And then I found that I was cutting out huge sections because I would totally like put in spoilers and be like, as I'm listening, I'm like, wait a minute, I don't think I should have said, and I have to chop it off. And they got really choppy and messed up. So I quit doing it because you know what? No, that's a lot of extra work. And what if I miss them? And then someone gets a spoiler that they didn't want? That's terrible. That's cruel. So now I have to wait, and it's no fun sometimes. I'm just gonna be honest.
No, that makes
But
sense. It's hard to talk about books at all without giving away
right.
spoilers. So I agree.
And sometimes for the author, you know what you don't want people to know, and that helps that you don't give away that spoiler. But sometimes you're so close to the story, you forget that some other things are spoilers for the reader. They're just not the ones that you were the most concerned about.
Right, right. And
Ah, so
I've had a
funny.
lot of interviews where I have, not wanted to share anything. And I watched a video that they had sent, the publishers that sent us, about how to do videos and interviews. And this particular instructor was talking about how you do want to share some of the book, even if it, is a spoiler, because you have to stir up interest in the story, and people are
Right.
still going to want to go back and read and figure out how all of this fits in and how it works together. So, but that's been really hard for me to decide. Well, and
It's a
so
tough
I have my
balance.
limit. I mean, I don't want to ruin it. My books are such that a lot of times we don't even know what's really going on until a certain point, and even saying that
Yeah.
much is like, ah, once you know that, then you're done.
Right? Yeah, it gets tough. What I loved in here, so there are a few things. I love her name Cressida. I have a character named Cressida,
I'm so
so that
glad
was
you
fun.
pronounced her name correctly. I don't know. I've heard some people struggle with that, and I'm like, I have
Yeah, I heard a
Cressida.
booktuber yesterday. I won't say names, but I don't think she listens to the podcast. I don't think she enjoys interview podcasts, but anyone who knows her now knows who I'm talking about. Anyway, I think she said Cressida, and I was like,
Yes, I
I've
heard
never heard it pronounced that way before. And then I had to go look and make sure I've been pronouncing it right my whole life.
Cressida. Well,
That was
I
funny.
mean, I try not to put in names that are hard to pronounce, but I guess
Well,
it's
I was thinking
possible.
Toyota. Everybody knows this. It's got to be.
Toyota. Yeah, I gotcha.
They used to have the Cressida. I'm just saying, and that's what they said. But anyway, and also speaking of names, I saw Braden Sanders, but my brain filled it in as Brandon Sanders, and I was like, what?
Oh, yeah.
I was like, whoops! Wait a minute, go back. That is not what you just read, Shatona. It's
I
funny.
know. Isn't it funny how your brain does that? It
It does.
fixes things. So,
But then, again, I'm still in this thing, and I see Ghost Ship. All right,
mm-hmm,
what's going
hmm
on here? I'm so excited about this. You have no idea. So, what are we going to see in this book? But for everything you can give me about Ghost Ship without totally ruining
Okay.
everything,
Yes,
I
yes.
want to know
Well,
all the things.
yes, yeah. Well, I'll start from the beginning actually. So, in creating the whole series, right, you've got, I want to say kind of a gothic feel, but yes, and kind of no, it's kind of halfway. But because you've got, as described earlier, the coast and the crashing waves and the fog rolling in, and I've got like an old lodge on the cliff, and I just was brainstorming with my friends, and I said, I really feel like I'm seeing this ghost ship floating out there. And then we all laughed. I said, I want to put a ghost ship in, but I don't think I can. And they were like, yes, do it. And so anyway, what I did is I just added, the ghost ship legend because it's a maritime community or a marine community, whatever I'm trying to say here, and I can't say it right. But and then so I had my main character take a picture. She was a photographer, so she caught the ghost ship in fog, and so it's just a blip, just
Da,
like
da, da.
one little blip in the story. So that's kind of all I had. I had this little blip, and so by book three, I also had this character kind of arise that I hadn't planned on. Her name is Evelyn Monroe. So book three comes along, and I have the blurb that I have to write, but my editor's like, "What is the story going to be about?" Because maybe I made her nervous. I don't know. But I said, I'm really feeling like I want to explore the ghost ship, and I want to find out who is Evelyn Monroe, and she was all on board with that. I was kind of afraid because, am I riding out of my lane at all with this? But a ghost ship is not, it's not a supernatural ghost ship, right? It's just a
Right.
derelict vessel. However, legends and all these kind of things kind of come out of ships that have been floating around without people. It's It's the sea shanties stories, all these ideas
Right,
and thoughts and
exactly.
scary things, and but they're not real. Anyway, I decided to explore
Like a
that.
Jamie
And so,
Joe.
yeah, yeah, well, exactly. I wanted to explore that, and she was on board with it. And so I was like, yes, I was so excited. I didn't have a clue, anything about it. So I created Cressida Dane. She's an investigative journalist, and her father was a maritime historian, and he has already written a book on shipwrecks, and he was in the middle of writing another book on shipwrecks and ghost ships when he dies. And she wants to finish his book and something about just following in his tracks, traveling the world and going to all the places. It's just her way of, staying connected to him, if that makes sense, and
Right.
finishing his book. And so her last ship is the ghost ship Specter's Bounty, and it's at Hidden Bay. And so she arrives in Hidden Bay to find out about the ghost ship, and so she has to go to the museum. She has to interview people, and she also runs into pirates. They're not real pirates, but they're just liveaboards that call themselves pirates. And these are based on real people, actually. I had a lot
I
of
love
fun with
it.
the characters and just adding in all of this, let's call it color, just a lot of different a variety of things in the setting that just made it a lot of fun. And I had to find out how all these things are connected. And I'm trying to think how much further can I go with this before I give too much away. Well, Evelyn Monroe is an elderly woman that lives on a mansion on the cliff, and she does have a connection to the Specter's Bounty. And so it's a lot of intrigue with the characters. Braden Sanders comes onto the scene. He was in Perilous Tides. He was a detective that showed up in Perilous Tides, and he's the main hero in Deadly Currents. And he is there undercover, let's say. He's working until something comes up that he doesn't even know why he's there. He's just working undercover until, and then Cressida Dane steps into the story and he has to protect her. So there's a lot of secrets and intrigue going on here, but I had so much fun with it. And so far, everyone who has read it, in fact, my editor said this was her favorite book of the series, but had loved the ending and said it was the perfect series ending. It was just a great ending how everything. So I hope you do get to read this,
Oh, definitely. I think it's here. I don't see it on my shelf, but I think it's already here. If it's not, I want to know why not, because where is
right?
it?
Right.
Right?
Well,
I need
I
to find
continue
out.
one or Ravel continue one or I continue one or however you want to do it. But yeah, we can make sure that
Oh,
you get one.
I gotta make sure I haven't ordered it though. I need to go look. Anyway, but yes, because all the yeses. Okay, now I how much of this was planned and how much of this kind of came out organically? Because we have Hidden Bay, we have a ship called the Specter, and then
Spectre's
we
Bounty.
have yeah, Specter's Bounty, and then we have like this ghost ship. But you said something else. What did you just say that also fit into this ghastly thing? Oh man, it's gone.
I don't know. I was talking about Evelyn Monroe. She lives on a cliff. And the pirates, the people
Pirates,
that
yeah,
were,
and then
yeah,
we have
yeah, yeah.
pirates. I'm like, how much of this was planned beforehand, and how much just kind of came out organically? Because I'm looking at this going, this is unbelievable.
Zero. It was all organic. I had a blurb that, I mean, the blurb is so vague, and I stayed true to the blurb I had. I would have to search and see what it was. It was so vague, but so I stayed true to that. But all the other pieces, and I can't really know those till I start getting into the story. That's just how I write.
Me
But I
too.
think that just writing The Spectre's Bounty just inspired me so much because in the setting, I always talk about how a setting inspires me, and that's the main thing in all my books and all my series. But this last story, because I was writing about a derelict vessel with legend behind it, and then it just felt right to add in these pirates, and these liveaboards, these people who live out on these boats that are in the bay because they can't afford to live on the land, and on and on and on, and they call themselves pirates and have a pirate, pirate king. And I kid you not, there are real people like this.
I
Just
just think that is so cool.
I mean, I didn't even really, honestly, I didn't know about that until I started researching it. I'm like, oh my gosh, yes, they go in the story. So yes, it was pretty much all organic. It wasn't planned ahead. Oh, the only thing planned is that, I need to answer what is the Spectre's bounty and who
And
is Evelyn Monroe. And I had to find it all out as I read the story.
It's so much fun. Oh, that is so much fun. Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. Okay, so what is the strangest thing that you found when you were researching or writing? I mean, I don't know about you, but I research as I write. I have some stuff ahead of time, sure, but I'm writing along and I'm like, I don't know what do they use cell phones or walkie-talkies or ham radio? What do they do? So I start looking and then I find all kinds of things I didn't know that have to go in suddenly. I mean, what is the strangest thing that you found?
Oh, I don't know. There's a lot of strange things that I'm trying to figure out. I don't know. This is a really tough one right there without giving too much away because it's well,
Oh
you
yeah.
just already talked about the pirates and the people living with. That actually is a strange thing to me. I was researching and I can't remember exactly what I was looking for, but then this article popped up about these liveaboards. I didn't even know that was a thing. But people living on their boats, and and there's a group that's in Puget Sound where I live. Puget Sound is a huge, huge area, body of water in Washington State. I mean, it practically cuts the state in half. And when people think of Seattle, they kind of that's what they're thinking of. But it's hours and hours of driving and miles, and it's just huge. But in one of these little coves or bays or whatever is a group of liveaboards that call themselves pirates, and they have a pirate king, and there's a certain ship they all gather at, and on and on and on. And
That's so
that to me was like, oh, okay. I was like, they're going in a book. Right in my
right.
book.
I mean, you can't not use something like that.
And I love how it fits naturally in the story. And love how when I put it in, I have to have the motivation and the reason and where they go and all of the law enforcement and the harbor stuff around it. I've got to fit all of those pieces into it. You know what I'm saying? It's got to fit seamlessly. So all of that was really fun. All the research that went into it, and do we have a harbor master? Do we have a marine patrol or not? How does it all work together? And who's paying for what? And you know, every little detail. And so I learned so much by just having to make my story work, right?
Right? And the things that you learn are bizarre. Denise Barella, when she was researching her 1920s mystery, she was like, doorbells. They gave doorbells for gifts. They were so popular in the 20s. They gave doorbells for gifts.
Wow.
What? And I'm like,
Wow.
yeah. I found that in the 1880s, anyway, so, certain times of the world in the U.S. I don't know if it was true overseas, but in the U.S., especially in the West, a nickname for Nathaniel, they would call him Fanny.
What? That makes no sense to me.
Not Fanny with the TH, guys. We're talking with an F. And you wouldn't want to say it in Britain. That one, yes. I was
Oh,
just like,
interesting.
what?
Well, that's just interesting.
They also gave
I don't know.
thimbles, silver thimbles instead of engagement rings.
Yeah, there's
That
so
was
much like that, like even things that we have today that have such an interesting history. The graveyard shift, talking about that shift,
right.
graveyard shift. And I don't know, there's so many things I can't, the images are popping into my head, but I can't think of the words. I don't know why. Maybe I'm such a writer. I can't talk, but I have to be typing something in to
You have to
think of what
talk
I'm
with
going
your
to say.
fingers.
I guess so. I guess so. And I was going to say there was another thing that I had just been researching, but it just went out my mind. Oh, wait, carry on.
That's no big deal. If you think of it, you can come back and we can cut all that out. So it's no big deal. But anyway, so okay, we're done with this series though, or are we?
Yeah, we are. Unless I come back and write something extra. I pretty much just do 3 book series for Ravel. I feel like 3 is a good number. It's like I,
At least
you
it's an
know,
odd number. It makes me very happy. I like books in odd numbers. I like objects in odd numbers. I like that you have a center and then things on each side. It's just something about it. It just is very pleasing to me. But for reasons that make absolutely no sense, I would rather either have 9 or 12 books, not 10 or 11. Yeah, and then 12 is even, but I don't care. I want 9 or 12 because
okay.
what I
Mhm.
want apparently matters. Uh,
Yeah, I mean, I think it's to do with, in a lot of cases, maybe book 4 doesn't ever sell that well. I'm just talking in general terms.
yeah,
And then on the other side of that, I'm actually pretty much ready to be somewhere else. Doesn't mean I won't
yeah.
come back. And so I'm already like on book 3 of my next series, the first book coming out in August. I'm already writing that. and have already proposed the next series after that. You know, because we work like 2 years ahead
Right.
in
Yeah.
traditional publishing, or a year and a half, 2 years ahead. So my head is already like many books away from this one. However, this is, I think it's one of my favorites. I really loved it so much, you know, writing it because of all the fun things we talked about, the pirates and the ghost ship. I know the research. I know what I was going to say is that the research I learned, I researched about ghost ships and derelict vessels floating and how long they can be floating and all the various many stories of different boats that have been out floating. And it's just been really fascinating. You know, even in modern times, there's things that happen where, you know, the radio goes silent, nobody answers, and then they arrive to find the ship and nobody's on it. What happened to the crew? But you think about the ocean, I mean, it's like the Pacific. It's like
Yeah.
70% of the planet, I something like that. And international waters, this
Right.
lawlessness out there, right? At some point. So, I mean, there's like so many stories. And so I felt, totally comfortable writing my story. And I just had to research a lot about this subject. And it was very fascinating.
Ah, that is so cool. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Okay, but you said you have a book coming out in August too. Guys, 2 books. Just saying. Woohoo. So, as if I recall correctly, you already have your schedule so you can come and talk to us about it.
Yes, I do. In fact, actually,
Elizabeth
I
is
have you.
on the ball, guys. She's
Yes.
always got her stuff way out, and I just love that. Makes me so happy.
Well, I think last time I was here, you said, "Well, get on there and schedule because I fill up," and so I did exactly that. I'm already scheduled for August, I believe, for my August book.
Yes.
It is Mercy Ridge Book One. The series is Mercy Ridge, and it's When the Silence Breaks. And this one is the series is set in the Cascades. So let me tell you this. Of course, I'm not. When is this coming out in April? This
1st of May.
I was in May. Oh, okay. Well, maybe you'll get in, but you need to go over and look at my website because I have crashing waves and they represent Hidden Bay and they're crashing, they're amazing and they're gorgeous. But for each series, I will be switching out the beautiful, amazing setting on the website for another animated setting. And so sometime in May, the Mercy Ridge series setting will come, and I believe it will include a volcano because I live in the Ring of Fire, and my Mercy Ridge series includes a volcano. So there you go.
See, guys, this is why I asked because I knew there would be a teaser for this next episode, and she just gave us her teaser for this next episode. So I'm just putting it out there. Ah, we're so excited. So, all right. So, faith wise, what are we going to see faith wise in Deadly Currents? Because Shatona cares. It's what Shatona reads for. I mean, this is who she
Right,
is, and
right.
maybe that means somebody else cares.
Well, exactly. Well, in all of my books, I just kind of, that also kind of grows organically where I
Yep.
put a spiritual message in, and it could be light, it could be heavy, there could be lots of scripture, there might not. It's just really kind of how the Holy Spirit leads me. And some books, some readers might come away and say, "There's just not any God in there at all." But I beg to differ. There is God in it.
Right.
God is in every story. He's a story writer. And so, in this book, the theme that kind of arose out of it was forgiveness, and it's not like a beat you over the head Bible theme at all. It comes from the character Evelyn Monroe, some of her backstory and why you should forgive. And it's a very important message that Cressida and Braden also have to learn. So very strong on that.
Wow, I love it. I'm getting a theme going on here. This year, more people have mentioned forgiveness as a theme in their books than
Really?
any year before. Not that other years haven't had it, but there's so many, and it's a mix of large publishers, small publishers, and
Yeah.
independent authors. So cool, so cool. I think God has something going on there, he's got to. And I mean, you think about was Tracy Peterson, who wrote about not really the founding per se of Minneapolis, but like the early glory days in the 1800s
Hmm.
of, Minneapolis. And it came out right as all the ugliness in Minneapolis happened. And I was like, it's like God is saying, yeah, but I'm still here. I was here from the beginning. I'm still here and I'm going to be here. And I was just like, he knew when all this was going to happen and when her book was going to come out. And I feel like this is the same thing happening with forgiveness this year. I don't know why we need forgiveness, but clearly we do because it's everywhere. It's amazing.
That is so cool. It's kind of like, when you go to church and the pastor gives a sermon on a thing that you were just thinking about, just talking about, just listen to, or whatever it is. So it's like the Holy Spirit speaking to everybody. So that's really interesting.
Isn't that neat? I just love it. Love it so, so, so much. Okay. So for readers who are going to read this series and just binge all the way through it, which series do you have that is closest in style or in tone? Or if you loved this series, then you're going to love this other series of yours. Which one would you point them to next while they wait for, our next release?
Well, the cool thing is that I am writing 2 books a year for Ravel, so the books do come out pretty fast. But yeah, with avid readers, I mean, not fast enough ever, right? So, you can go back and binge read all of my Ravel series. Missing in Alaska came right before Hidden
Which
Bay,
is great.
but my voice is kind of the way it is. It's just every series is pretty much about the setting, and so I think you'll find that in all of the books.
Love it. Love it. All right. So, where should readers go to find out when this next book is coming out, when they can pre order? Guys, you can still get this book at 30% off through bakerbookhouse.com with free US shipping. I just checked, it's still
Yes.
there. But you can also pre-order the next one at the same time for 40% off with free shipping. I'm just saying. So, but where do they go
Yes.
to find out all that information from you and so that they don't miss what's coming
Yeah,
next?
well, as I mentioned earlier, my website, if you can go there and capture the beautiful waves, but also subscribe to my newsletter because I am always going to be sending out every month the information that you need to pre-order books, order books, get the deals on books because sometimes Baker Publishing offers deals and sales. And so, and on my website, in the top right corner, you can see the icons for all of my social media like Facebook and Instagram and Pinterest and Goodreads and on and on and on. So it's all there on the website. So, but yeah, if you subscribe to the newsletter, you'll get welcome emails to kind of get you going. And then once a month, you'll receive the information from me. And then you can add from there. You can join the social media and you'll get information really fast.
Ah, love it so much. And yeah, right at the top of her website, she's got little buttons to click on any of the social media that you use. So it's super easy to follow. I'm just putting that out there. But anyway, well, Elizabeth, this has been great. Thank you for coming and chatting on a very hot and miserable and cold and rainy, depending on which part of the west coast that we're on. I guess who is which. Anyway, but especially when you're tired and your voice is weary. So I appreciate that. I just want to say I didn't notice it, but I'm not living with it. So, for what it's worth. But
Thank
anyway, thank
you.
you so much. I just really enjoy chatting with you.
Thank you. You're a lot of fun to talk to you also. So thanks for having me on here.
Alrighty. Well, guys, I'm going to say have a good day. Go read these good books. If you haven't read the first two, I'm going to say you should before you read this. I don't think you have to, no, but I think you will love it more if you do. That's just my unofficial, non-expert, but totally avid reader opinion. And I will chat with you guys next time.